Hello, welcome everyone to the preview. Um, I just want to kind of start by letting you know it is honesty that is the special ingredient for every successful relationship. We have to be brutally honest with one another. And in order for me to be as transparent as I can possibly be, I got to kind of get comfortable, right? So, first step, I have nothing written down. This is all coming from my heart. It's coming from my head. It's coming from my spirit. And I have to share this so that we can attempt to make a connection in the beginning. And if we can connect here, then I know we certainly will be able to continue to connect as we develop more and more episodes to help one another get better at life. So let me be transparent. I don't often walk around without glasses anymore. Not only because I can't see very well, that's kind of obvious. I've been wearing glasses since they were issued to me in Air Force basic training in 1992. But over the years, you get older and you have things that happen in life. You age. And with aging sometimes, and even young people get sick. Don't get me wrong. Getting sick is not reserved for elderly people or middle-aged people like myself. But around 40, 41, I started having a few issues with my health. And things went untreated for a while. A lot of the doctors that saw me, obviously they're Caucasian. We don't have a robust community of Black doctors and medical providers here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where I'm located. So they relied a lot on family history. Did your mom or your dad have diabetes, hypertension, stroke? And they focused most of their workups based off of my history, the comorbidities that my parents and grandparents had. So I share that because at some point I had a discussion with my own mother, and she relayed to me she was having some difficulties with her thyroid, and I went and had mine checked and was diagnosed with Graves' disease. So as part of that disease process, I became very reliant on glasses to try to cover up the thyroid eye disease that I was also beginning to develop. So I want to remove everything. I want to remove all barriers to great communication because I want to look you all right in the face as I start this, because I need you to know how serious I am. I need you guys to understand this 1111, this thing that I'm talking about. It's about collaboration. It's about bringing people together. It takes no skill, no intelligence, no game plan to divide people. I mean, that part's obvious. You guys see what we have in Washington, D.C., supposedly representing the interests of we the people. You've got a House of Representatives who have worked 15 days since July 1st. And they have not missed a paycheck, not missed a meal, not donated the money. A lot of them are multimillionaires. How? Is it from campaign financing? Is it off the backs of the taxpayers that people who serve in roles, public service roles, to provide for constituents? Some areas in which they represent, million people they're representing. And the best you can tell me is that you've worked 15 days since July 1st. My grandchildren have been to school more than you. And they didn't start school in July. They started at the end of August. It's ridiculous. So even the kids are reporting to duty in America. The faculty's reporting to duty in America. The administration at the schools. So schools are functioning. Businesses are functioning. The only thing that's not really functioning is the government. It's shut down. Literally shut down. It's been shut down. It's not operable currently, but now they've really shut down. So we've got to get into why all these things have come about. And we've got to get at the root of the truth. I don't like relationships that don't contain truth. I don't think any of you enjoy those either. But you're looking at a man who's 55 years old. I have lived 55 years in the United States of America in this skin. I have lived on the East Coast. I've lived in Texas. I've lived in Idaho. I've been all over this country. And let me tell you, I've never felt safe enough anywhere to have this conversation. But I do now. See, I don't want this conversation to just be restricted for people in America. I'm going to use the apparatuses that allows this message to get out to the world. Anyone who can hear me, I need you to hear the perspective of a 55-year-old man who's lived in America. Not only have I lived in America, I've served America. I'm a veteran of the United States Air Force, 9 years. I've earned the right to share my perspective on how America functions when they deal with Black and brown people. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening that in 2025, human beings are still at an idiotic level. But what makes this worse in the United States is that the idiots are running the nation. And I'm not just talking about politically. See, policy is one way, but over in the financial sector, they dominate there too. I've been in boardrooms with you all. I've been in sessions where I've litigated. I'm not an attorney, but I beat the attorney. Yeah, I've litigated successful cases against attorneys. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five. Yeah, in excess of 20. I understand the level of intelligence that exists in these rooms that people who look like me rarely get access to. And through all those experiences and all of the experiences that I endured in the 70s, when we're just fresh off of civil rights and Black people are trying to find their footing. But you see small companies, the McGuire taxi companies and small little companies in your hometown, these Black companies, you see they slowly go out of business as I grew up in the 70s. And then I reached the 80s. I was born in 1970. So as we get into the 80s, there's even more going on. And you guys know what's going on by the time the 80s roll around. We got a crack epidemic. And the response to the epidemic is nowhere close to the response that we see with today's drug epidemic. You know, the fentanyl and all that stuff. We're shooting boats in the water right now because of the drug problem. But with the drug problem, look brown and Black, we ain't shoot nothing. We threw more syringes and needles into the neighborhoods and streets. Crack ain't enough. Get on this heroin too. You know what I'm saying? Let's sprinkle some booger sugar in your neighborhood as well. I know this stuff intimately because it was not just sold in my neighborhood. At the end of my front porch, it was sold night after night. I've seen so much in this lifetime. I've been from liquor houses to legislative offices in the Capitol. There ain't a room I ain't been in. And I can move in all those rooms because your frequency levels will never, ever, ever exceed mine. Mr. Egomaniac, I'm better than you because I'm a white supremacist. White supremacists are chumps, cowards, incapable of coming up with thought, original thought. How original is it to think like a caveman? A caveman from the dark ages. That's who you still behave like in 2025. You behave like someone on the Iberian Peninsula in Europe prior to the arrival of the African Moors. Places like, modern day Morocco. Yeah. See, there's a Rock of Gibraltar. See, y'all didn't realize. I told you I'm 55, and what you did not know about me is that at a young age, not my family, not my church, not my community, the administrators in your education systems, they identified me as gifted and talented. And I knew it before they told me. I've always known exactly who I am. So anytime you feel like taunting or go back to Africa, well, guess what, buddy? Guess what, guy? Guess what, dude? We all from Africa. Yeah, man, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmama. Yeah, she black. Her name Eve. And I ain't talking biblically. I'm talking scientifically. Mitochondrial Eve. So when you start cutting up, talking about you better than me and blah, 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 and you eat chicken and you eat watermelon, all the racist rhetoric I've heard all my life. Boy, shut up. We got the same mama and you a chump. That's how I feel about you. Yeah, I've had so many experiences, man. And I just want to have an honest conversation. I want to see if we can get there, right? We can get to a point of agreement, and then we can move forward from there. I like plans of action. I don't like a lot of complaining. I like action. So I've developed plans, and I'm just looking for some cooperation so we can put these plans in place. So dig this. The year was 1494. I already referenced the Iberian Peninsula, but to be specific, the small town in Spain, Tordesillas, is where the meeting took place. There was a meeting. King of Spain, King of Portugal, and the Pope. Yeah, the head of the Christian church. They all showed up for a meeting. And the meeting was simple. Prime meridian. We're going to split the world up in two. Yeah, Spain, you take that side. Portugal, you get that side. And as y'all go get your sides and you spread up the world. Now, you're saving souls. This is the mission. We're sending you on the behalf of the church. You're going to save souls. This is what was discussed in 1494. Coincidentally, Columbus arrived here 2 years prior, and he was able to confirm that there is, in fact, a world that is new to them, but it wasn't a new world. See, what you guys failed to lock in when you came up with this foolishness is that if God created it and it was already here when you found it, how you gonna bless what God already made? See, that's your issue. I've finally found the issue. You think you're God, don't you? Yeah. You're no different than Lucifer, who also thought he was equal to God. So you were acting like God when you set this whole process in motion. Gotcha. So we're gonna keep going, right? We'll go a little deeper. So you came up with the plan. You separated the world, split it up, and you forgot that I also understand why you wanted to go do this. See, you were under the rule of the Moors for hundreds of years, and predominantly they taught you a Muhammad religion, but it wasn't Christianity. It was Islam. They also taught you mathematics. They also taught you astronomy. They also opened up universities. You only had one open when they arrived. But after all this time of being under their rule, you had 25, 26, 27 universities by the time they left. See, the history books are written, but you guys are starting to hide them. And I'm not going to let you play the game. See, when we got there, it was called the Dark Ages. Now, I also need to let you know I'm a history major. So I've studied the history of multiple countries, not just what y'all tried to force on me. You know what I mean? Because the European history, bingo, you signed me up for that one. American history of the United States, you definitely signed me up for that one. But did you sign me up for history of Africa, Asia, South America? You didn't. Not even Australia, where the original people there are black too. We'll get to all this stuff though. We'll get to it. But again, it's all coming from here and it's all coming from here, and I need you to follow me and keep up. Because you're not running any more tricks. You lied about too much. I mean, you did. None of your lies even made sense. So, we know from the history of the world that the Dark Ages ended because the Moors were the ones who enlightened you. Not only to those things I mentioned, mathematics, astronomy, the sciences. We ain't gonna just say that. They made you literate. They helped you learn how to read and write. There's no Renaissance period without these people whatsoever. So they brought culture. And when I mean culture, they even told you how to wash and clean yourselves because you didn't even do that. Now in Europe, in Dark Age Europe, man, they using the bathroom, they pottying in the streets like animals. So we cleaned it up for you. But you said nothing good came from Africa, right? You went to save us, to get us out of the jungles. We brought you out of the Dark Ages. Stop lying to the world. Don't lie to the world. Algebra, all those things that you enjoy. Half of the stars, the constellations, they have Arabic names. Why? All these, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a Capricorn, I'm a this, I'm a that. Y'all don't even know where it comes from. It comes from your people. It comes from Africa. They named those constellations. But you listen to the lies. Oh, they were the adventurous and they went out and they settled the world. You didn't even settle the United States after you got here. The West, yeah, when we're going out to, I mentioned Idaho. We'll get back to it. All that out there, all the way to California, from sea to shining sea, they have you singing, America, America. Man, come on. So to get all the way to California, you took black soldiers, Civil War era, Buffalo soldiers, to be more specific. They had to go settle the West for you. They had to go out there and fight with the Native American tribes to clear the passage out west for land that you gave only to people who were white. Only those were the recipients of free land out west, land that we gained from the bravery, courage, and brutal murder committed by black soldiers in the name of white colonism. Yikes. So you've been using this all along, right? I point to that, but prior to that, even in the Revolutionary War, first person to die was a black man, Crispus Attucks. We just keep seeing us everywhere in the history of this nation, but you keep talking about don't be woke. What? Man, I was 6 years old when I heard Malcolm X for the first time talking about the black man in America is asleep. I ain't slept since. Y'all playing with the wrong cat, man. I know too much. I know way too much about the idiocy of this system of white supremacy you've built. But I'm not here to tear down your system. I don't care about your system. See, I'm 55 and I'm totally healed. I'm healed from all of the experiences. I first heard the N-word aimed at me as a 5-year-old in kindergarten. Handled it like a champ. Like Floyd Mayweather champ. You know what I mean? Undefeated. Yeah, he got them hands. Work. Been ready to fight it since that moment. I have. I've been sitting back, I've been watching, I've been listening, and I've been coming up with a plan. So the plan is simple. The racism that you exerted on the world, because African Americans get caught up into our own feelings and our own issues. So we point to years like 1619, and we point to locations like Hampton, Virginia, where the first slave ship came in. And you know, there's just so much history in that area of Hampton Roads. I was stationed there for 7 years. That's how good God has been to me, sending me to the places I need to be so I can continue to research what I need to research. Not only did I get the wonderful opportunity to be in Hampton, Virginia, I got to go to Mount Home, Idaho. I don't know if y'all heard in the news recently, sounds like a foreign government. Qatar might be building a base at Mount Home after they gave a special friend an airplane. Wild stuff, man. But I'm not here to talk about that. I don't care about that. I really don't. I don't care. I don't. You'll figure out soon why I don't care. But I just need to know, let those folks know, if you're going to be moving there to serve your nation's Air Force or whatever, Qatar, just know, not very far from there, there's a little place called Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Yeah. See, when I was out there, we had a briefing, and the Air Force was kind enough to brief all the people of color to let us know that although Idaho borders Canada, if we wanted to go to Canada, we need to go this way. Go through Oregon and then Washington State, because we're not sure we can get you safely back from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It is the capital of hate groups in America. Ain't none of them being picked up by ICE. I wonder why. I don't. And I don't care about that either. See, I'm at this point where I understand that all of our contributions, whether we're talking about to the Iberian Peninsula in Europe to get those great folks out of the Dark Ages, or if we're even talking about all the things we've done here in America to build the most successful economy in the history of the world through free labor. Legally, it is called unjust enrichment. And the enrichment remains unjust until you provide reparations. And you don't want to talk about reparations because you're too busy sending billions to places like Argentina, who's also a headquarters for some real friendly racists too. A lot of the Nazis from Germany relocated to Argentina after the war, World War II that I'm speaking of. Don't play with us. Only people that get to immigrate right now are some white South Afrikaners. Why would you dare connect the word Africa with them, those heathens of races? Do you give the name American to people from South America that come here illegally? Because I can tell you right now, those white folks in South Africa showed up there illegally. That was not legal immigration. Same ones that locked Mandela up. Yeah, them. They get to come, their grandkids get to come over. Really? That's what we doing. Cool. I don't care about that either. See, this is what I really care about. I see all your moves. I can connect racism with every system that you've developed. But the one system that you developed that I do care about, I kept telling you what I don't care about. Let me tell you what I do care about. I care about capitalism because capital makes the world go round. I ain't lying. Check it in your Bible. Even the Bible says money makes the world go round. The only thing that I was taught as a young person is the root of all evil. I wonder who taught us that. Must have been the Pope from 1494 that wrote that one in the book. Dig this. Y'all got to get a different mentality about what's happening here in America. So what's happening in America is that the white majority, who has always been in control, and the only time they weren't in control of the government, technically, was the 8-year period Barack Obama was president, and they're still making us pay for that.